Here with Logix from the Toronto Defiant. First off, how's it been going in quarantine for you?
It's been okay. You know, obviously, it was always a bit weird as a gamer. I think most of us spend a lot of time inside, but now being a little bit, forced is definitely like a weird scenario.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people probably have a harder time than me dealing with it. But it's definitely weighing on me a little bit. But overall, I'd say I'm doing okay.
Yeah. What have you been doing for fun to keep yourself busy inside? It's like it's a weird thing because I'm like,
yeah,
I'm sure you're the same way as I am, where it's like, well, all right, I'll just play games. Then you get up, then you're like, well, I'll just go back and play more games. Is there anything else you've been doing?
Trying to do a little bit of a workout at home because obviously I can't really go to the gym anymore. Because I mean, obviously playing games is a lot of fun, but playing games after games after games, I can definitely get a little bit tiresome.
Yeah, no, I've been trying to get like I said the other day, I was like, man, I did the stairs in my apartment and I felt like winded. I was like, I need to do something. It's not good. What are your thoughts on the new tournament format in the Overwatch League?
I definitely think it's like an improvement. Obviously, with COVID, like at the start of COVID, we were pretty limited with the amount of teams that we were playing. Playing some of the like teams over and over. I think we played Boston like 2 or 3 times.
Hey, that's not that bad.
Washington. I mean, yeah, it's not that bad for standings perhaps, but it does get repetitive. Obviously, that was definitely like, I guess it builds up a little bit of a rivalry, because if you beat them once, they obviously want to strike back really quick, like within the next 2 weeks. But I think definitely with the May tournament, it creates for a lot more competitiveness. Definitely playing a lot more different teams and different playstyles.
Would you want to see like more tournaments like in the future? Like, how do you think like it should be included?
I think we'll have to see. I think it really depends on how it plays out. I think because obviously we just started doing it right now. I'll have to see how it like develops a little bit more to see my opinion on it. Right. I think it's definitely cool to play more teams and play more varied version of teams as well. Yeah,
I think it almost recreates like what we had with the stages, right? Where I think everyone was super excited for like the stage playoffs and whatnot. I think it'd be cool if we get some of that back.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you miss the homestands? It only lasted for a short period of time, but what did you get out of the homestands?
That's probably like the biggest hit out of everything for me personally, because you basically like practice for an entire week and you live up to the moment of the homestand. And it's not like online matches aren't as hype or like as fun to play, but playing in front of the stages is something so rewarding. Like the whole energy it gives off. Yeah. Playing in front of a crowd is something like magical, something really amazing.
And it was like unfortunate because you guys experienced the homestands where you're the away team always and you're being like booed and people are yelling. What do you think the Toronto homestand would have been like?
Obviously very, very biased, but hearing about Toronto sports teams in general, I honestly think our homestand would have probably been one of like the most energetic and hype homestands out of most, I'd say. Like, I was actually really looking forward to it. Obviously safety comes first. I wouldn't want anyone to risk, getting infected, but I would have loved to see it just happen and just feel the energy from the crowd and, be the home team. That's obviously.
Was there a crowd that stood out to you the most of the ones that you went to?
Probably Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the, but that was last year because it truly felt like we were hated. It sounded really weird. We were playing Atlanta and from minute 1, you could just hear the crowd be so energetic. And I didn't even mind it that much because it was really cool to, I'm a real competitive person. So I really loved seeing how hyped the crowd was for their home team. Yeah. And it was something really magical. And that just made me look so much that made me look so happy and excited for this upcoming season.
Another topic that's new this year, kind of debated back and forth, hero pools. How has that affected your week to week, not just gameplay, but the way you guys prep?
So I'd say we have a pretty precise roster in the sense that we obviously have Sheriff on our roster, who is known as one of the more flexible DPS players in the world right now. Like he's able to flex onto so many different heroes. Obviously agility is very flexible on mostly projectile heroes, but can flex onto some more niche picks as well. So my role for this team this year was mainly to focus on like more hit scan based heroes. We had such talented DPS players, and I think that definitely slots in well into hero pools. Obviously based on the weekly bans, we've seen some very interesting metas. There's weeks where I've mostly played control for my team. Obviously control favors a lot of more clutch plays, but we see a lot of more like hit scan characters as well, so I'm able to come in on control map, practice my specialty, I'll say, and do really well that way.
What are your thoughts on Echo, the newest hero?
Oh, her beam is absolutely devastating. That's probably like the most devastating thing about her entire kit. Yeah, she does a lot of damage, but the beam is just like ludicrous, over the top. You know, you're half HP, suddenly you're dead. She's probably one of the more versatile heroes right now because her left click and right click does so much damage. Like, you can actually play her in spam. Like, combined with a Hanzo and Ashe, she actually does a lot of damage to shields. But at the same time, you know, her shift ability makes her able to go so high up in the air. She can slide down. She actually composes very well with like a Sombra dive as well. So I think she's one of the more versatile heroes. Being able to copy anyone on the enemy team, you know, that can transform her into suddenly a way different playstyle. I think she's very interesting. Any hero that requires a high skill ceiling to get to a point where she looks overpowered to a point, I think is always welcome. I think we really had that with a lot of Tracer and Genji players to a point where they were able to one-trick them for like basically 2-3 years at one point. You can see some of the best Tracers in the world, like Striker and Sable B personally, I'd say they made Tracer look like a ridiculously OP hero, whilst I think if you put her in the hands of an average ranked player, maybe say Gold or Platinum, they could do well on her if they practice her, but they would not reach that level purely because, you know, they've put so much hours and they're like nearing that skill
peak,
skill peak where no one can compete with them. It was just amazing to see. So definitely, like, it's definitely welcome, and it's very excited. I like her kit a lot. It's very unique.
So now, speaking of just the skill of like damage dealers, like who do you think are some of the best players in the league right now at the damage dealer role?
I would say Jerry, but I think people definitely realize that he's like a really insane player, because I mean, you obviously see Boston is currently struggling and he still manages to like, suddenly you see the kill feed, his team is dying on the side and he'll manage to get like 3 kills randomly.
Who do you think the best, like if you had to vote for MVP right now, who would you give it to?
I'd say Carpe has been playing insanely well this season. I think that's probably like a very solid pick. Quite frankly, I've been mostly watching the Western games because obviously the Asian games are very late.
It's a little late.
Shanghai's obviously doing really well, so maybe one of their DPS players, but I can't personally say that I pay too much attention to them. So if we're only considering the games that I've actively watched, the more Western games, I'd say Carpe would definitely be my pick for this season.
Is there a team in the Asian region you guys would like love to face off against? Like obviously, like you know, not with the ping right now. No, you wouldn't want to do that. But eventually, like with some of those rosters.
I mean, the Shanghai Dragons. You know, I've never lost to them in my career.
there it is.
So it's always fun to play against them. Obviously, I mean, I consider them one of the best, if not top 2 team in the league right now. You learn so much by playing like such a good team. It's always really exciting to play them. I
gotta ask, because that actually brings up something. When you say you're undefeated against the Shanghai Dragons, some of those ones in season 1 were like they were like the hype, like some of the hypest games. Like towards the, what did it feel like to play in those? Because like
those games were really something else. So obviously being part of the 2 bottom tier teams in Overwatch League season 1, those games were looked forward to. Maybe not for the right reasons, because obviously people were looking for Shanghai to get their first win. Those games are insanely like stressful for us. I imagine it was just as stressful for them, even though they had a lot of fan support because people really want to see them get their first win. Their players were obviously in a scenario where they're 0-30 at that point, or 36. I forgot, but obviously that's an incredibly tough season mentally on the players as well as the staff. So both teams were just insane. Like I remember at that point side player was on the roster, so we split playtime. But during our last game versus Shanghai Dragons, I got to play map 5. I think we started 0-2.
It was Nepal,
it was either 2-0
right?
or Nepal.
And you played Widow against Dia.
Yeah, no, I remember. I actually have the VOD saved on my home PC because I just want to keep it forever. Because the week of preparation leading up to that, we didn't care about any other game. We were not gonna lose to Shanghai. That was just not happening. That was like our main focus, was not losing to Shanghai Dragons. And I just remember playing really well that last map on Nepal, and just screaming after it was over.
Yeah, I remember
just
that.
Screaming because I was like, it's over. I'm happy. we didn't lose to them. We did it. So yeah, it was a pretty low point because you obviously don't want to play to not lose to Shanghai Dragons, but I was so happy that it wasn't us that was going to lose to them.
What was your favorite moment as a player?
I'd say probably in stage 2, our game against Valiant, where I did extremely well, and the Thanks Mr. Logix meme came from.
Yeah.
I mean, the Shanghai one is definitely up there, you know, I'm not gonna lie. It's a pretty grim moment for me personally, because it was like really stressful season for me as well. But I mean, definitely something I remember. And I said, like, it's so important to me that I literally have like we have these VODs with our own communication on it from the match. I have it saved on my PC. I think I had it saved on like 2 other PCs in Florida Mayhem. Like, yeah, so
you ever have a bad day of rank, just go watch yourself just Widowmaker Dia to death in the game 5. What are some of your most memorable moments as just a fan of Overwatch esports in general?
Probably one of the games between San Francisco Shock and Titans in the stage final. I wouldn't say the actual final, because I don't think the final was as hype as some of the stage finals, if I'm being completely honest.
It was like 18 minutes,
yeah, so I mean, the stage finals were always so incredible. Like those teams were like so far ahead of other teams in terms of their GOATS gameplay. You could literally look at each individual player and they were miles ahead of each other compared to other teams, and it was just really cool to see as a player the intricacies that go into GOATS, the way they were near perfecting it. I don't think any team was at a point where they were playing perfect GOATS whatsoever.
Yeah.
But those two teams were definitely like the closest to perfecting it, and it was just beautiful Overwatch to see.
What are you doing in regards to like staying close with your teammates during all of this? Do you room with anybody, or is it just you?
Yes. So
cool.
we share one apartment with one of our teammates.
Yeah.
I share an apartment with Surfer.
Oh, cool.
So we get to talk to each other on a daily basis.
You gotta become friends now. I mean,
yeah.
Can't go anywhere to avoid them. You gotta become friends.
So yeah, so we definitely, I'm mostly in contact with Lane right now because I haven't seen some of my teammates for a while. We're basically always in our rooms together.
Yeah.
But we really do have like conversations that go pretty deep about Overwatch, about the team, about like everything surrounding it. So
and then what is it about Overwatch that you just love and that like makes you want to grind every day?
It's really weird because it's just like a magical feeling for me. It's a game that I really fell in love with. I was in this weird period before Overwatch came out where I was playing games competitively, but I wasn't enjoying those games necessarily. Like I'm a very competitive person, so I will always want to compete in like a ranked ladder or like a tournament style. And then one of my friends told me like, hey, Overwatch has an open beta. No idea what Overwatch was. Apparently some people have been playing in closed beta for months. I had no idea. So I went into it with a really open mind, I was like, maybe this could be the next big thing, maybe I really enjoy it. Ended up playing Tracer and Soldier. I think it was a 3-day open beta that weekend.
Yeah.
I played about, 40 hours in 3 days.
Yep.
Absolutely lost it. I was absolutely in love. The moment ranked release, started grinding that. And there's just something, I don't know. It's just so unique. Every scenario is so different. The fact that there's like a good mix between being able to clutch and having to work together. It's something very fulfilling as well.
Did you have like one hero that sucked you in? Like I remember coming from Call of Duty, like as soon as I like grabbed Soldier 76, I was like, all right, I get this. And then I became addicted and hooked. Like, was there one hero that as soon as you started playing, you were just hooked?
Yeah, Tracer. I mean, that's like, I was really glad that I got the opportunity to play her competitively for basically 2 years. Dive being that strong, Tracer as a character being that strong. So Tracer is definitely my most played hero, my favorite hero, the hero that I enjoy playing the most as well.
All right, man, anything you want to say to some of the fans out there at home?
Obviously, to all the fans, thank you so much for still supporting us through this tough time. Obviously, everyone's having a tough time. We're one of the few jobs that is not affected, really. We can still play and do our job. We can still practice. I know some people are really out there struggling. Obviously, a big shout out to all the helpers and the people that are actively daily going out and helping other people. Big shout out to you guys. Without you guys, it would really be like a really much worse time. So thank you so much for that. We really do appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's a crazy time. I think we're fortunate that we're able to still do what we do at the Overwatch League, and then also provide some kind of outlet for a lot of the people who are home or working even longer hours, like under a lot of stress right now. It's pretty awesome to see. Stay safe, bud. Stay home.
Like us. Yeah.
You keep practicing.
Won't leave my apartment.
You don't leave. I'll have Lane watch you. Yeah. I'll talk to you later, bud.
All right, take care.